Natural resource. Anything in the environment which can be used is called a natural resource. Natural resources includes total natural environment that support human life and contribute to the production of necessities and comforts to mankind. So natural resources are the components of atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere. Types of natural resources. Inexhaustible. These are in plenty and cannot be exhausted by man's consumption. For example, air, sand, clay, etc. It gets affected by the overpopulation of mankind. Exhaustible. These are limited and can get exhausted over a period of time, i.e., coal, petroleum, etc. Management of natural resources. A system of controlling the use of natural resources in such a way as to avoid their wastage and to use them in the most effective way is called management of natural resources. Why do we need to manage our resources? We need to manage our natural resources because of the following reasons. The resources of the earth are limited. As the human population is increasing rapidly, the demand for resources increases day by day. Thus, proper management of these resources can ensure that they last for the generations to come. Sustainable development. Development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable development needs all stakeholders of forest resource to be satisfied. In reality, industries use forest at rates for below the market rates, which causes conflict between local dwellers and industrialists. Chipko Andolan movement originated in Garhwal in early 1970. That was the result of a grassroots level effort to end the alienation of people from their forest. Thus, Chipko movement is the tree-hugging movement in which the villagers compel the axemen to stop tree felling by embracing and farming ring around the marked trees. Forest. The forest is a complex ecosystem consisting mainly of trees that buffer the earth and support a myriad of life forms. The trees help create a special environment which in turn affects the kinds of animals and plants that can exist in the forest. Plants provide habitat to different types of organisms. Stakeholders. Stakeholder is a person with an interest in a particular business. Everyone uses forest resources in one form or the other. These stakeholders of forest resources include the people who stay nearby forest grounds use firewood, that and small timber from the forests. Bamboo is used in making huts and baskets for collecting food. The forest department of the government owns the forest land and controls the resources from the forest. The industrialists who use various forest products for their factories, such as wood for making paper and furniture and timber, leaves for making bidis, etc. The forest and wildlife activists who want to see the forests in their pristine form. Wildlife. Wildlife traditionally refers to undomesticated animal species, but has come to include all organisms that grow or live wild in an area without being introduced by humans. Wildlife is important for ecological importance, balance of various elements of nature and maintenance of food chains. Investigatory importance. Wildlife is a source of the big gene pool and helps in conserving species of a region. Economic importance. Wildlife also yields several products like various drugs. Conservation of wildlife. Wildlife can be conserved by developing protective areas such as national parks, wildlife sanctuaries to protect the animals in their natural habitat. The endangered and vulnerable species can be kept in captivity in places such as zoos and bred to increase their population. 3 R's to save the environment. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce means use less. Save the resource by not wasting them. Reuse means use the things again and again. Recycle means to put used objects and materials through a process so that they can be used again. Reuse is better than recycling as it saves energy. Water for all. Water is the basic necessity for all forms of life, human beings, other animals as well as plants. The regions having good availability of water are flourishing because they have good crops, but the regions having shortage of water are in thick of poverty because of poor crop growth. The various sources of water which are available to us are rains, rivers, lakes, ponds, wells, oceans and glaciers. Rain is a very important source of water. Dams. In order to make proper use of river water, dams are constructed across the rivers to regulate the flow of water. Dams are useful for the society in the following ways. Water from a dam is used for irrigation in fields through a network of canals. Water from a dam is supplied to the people in towns and cities through pipelines after suitable treatment. The falling water from the dam is used for generating electricity. The construction of high-rise dams for the off-river water and generation of electricity has certain problems associated with it. Social problems. Changes in water and food security, increases in communicable disease and the social disruption caused by construction and involuntary resettlement. Environmental problems. The flooding of surrounding habitat around dams kills trees and other plant life that then decomposes and releases large amounts of carbon into the atmosphere. Because the river is no longer flowing freely, the water becomes stagnant and the bottom of the reservoir becomes depleted of oxygen. Economic problems. The economic impacts of dams on agricultural productivity could be positive or negative. The World Commission on Dams 2000 published several case studies on large dams and found that many irrigation projects did not live up to their economic expectations. Water harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is an age-old practice in India, to capture as much rainwater as possible which had fallen on their land and roof of the house. The main purpose of water harvesting is not to hold rainwater on the surface of the earth, but to make rainwater percolate under the ground, so as to recharge groundwater. Coal and petroleum. Coal and petroleum are fossil fuels found in Earth's crust. They are non-renewable and exhaustible resources. Coal is combustible fossilized rock derived from a large accumulation of plant remains that is gradually compressed. Coal is used for cooking, heating in industry and thermal power plants. Coal is formed in a long period of time. Petroleum is another fossil fuel that occurs in the form of liquid oil. It has been formed in the past about 10 to 20 crore years old, from plant and animal remains and occur in the form of mineral oil in sedimentary rocks. Petroleum is mainly used as fuel for transport, agricultural operations, generators and some industries. Petroleum is formed when large quantities of dead organisms, mostly zooplankton and algae, are buried underneath sedimentary rock and subjected to both intense heat and pressure. Petroleum has mostly been recovered by oil drilling. Natural petroleum springs are rare. Methods of conservation of natural resources. Burning of coal causes air pollution, thus direct use of coal for the purpose of burning should be avoided. Coal may be converted into liquid fuel and compressed natural gas, CNG, through coal gasification. Techniques should be developed to recover maximum fossil fuel that lies in deep mines and wells. Wastage during extraction and transportation should be avoided. Both oil wells and coal mines are prone to catch fire. Therefore, these should be well protected from fire to avoid wastage, pollution and loss of life and property. Pollution caused by coal and petroleum. Carbon fuels such as with coal, petroleum release and burn carbon particles in the environment. These particles are very dangerous pollutants and cause respiratory diseases, for example asthma. The combustion of fossil fuels also releases a large amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Steps for conservation of energy resources. Save electricity, water, etc. by not using when not required. Use energy-efficient electrical appliances to save electricity. Use pressure cooker and solar cooker for cooking food. Encourage the use of biogas as domestic fuel. Fuel-efficient motor vehicle should be designed to reduce consumption of petrol and diesel.